Hello, gamers. You're listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 154. And welcome back to another edition of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm Brent Felsing, and joining me tonight, everybody, Frankie Ayler, Ben Boyce, Bender Holt. It's good to have everybody back. Frankie, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Pretty good.
Excellent. You look great. The beard is looking mighty, mighty epic, dude. Mighty epic.
Yes. I was mistaken for a woman today, actually.
How?
It was a 90-year-old lady. So she's one of our neighbors, but she has a dog that Jen goes and pets every time they're outside. So we were walking to her car, and she had just seen probably like from behind because my hair's longer too. So she was showing Jen all the stuff that she makes, like she does arts and crafts and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she kept saying, like, does your friend over there want anything? Does she see anything she likes? So Jen didn't catch on to this at all, but I was just like,
wow.
So
wow.
Yeah, like finally, like she turned around. She's like, "Oh my god, that's not a girl." John was like, "Oh, no." So we were leaving. I was like, "Did she not see the beard?" Like,
well, you know, the circus might be in town. Maybe she thought you were the bearded lady from the attraction. You never know.
That's true. No, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Did she ask you if you wanted a popsicle?
Ah, man, I wish.
Good grief.
Had a whole freezer full of them.
Oh, good.
Would you like a popsicle?
Okay. Wow. Okay. Awesome. Going over to Bender. Mr. Holt, how you doing this evening, sir?
I am doing great.
Doing great. How's your week been? Busy?
Yeah, busy. Just haven't had a chance to play too many games this week, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's been pretty busy.
Gotcha. Boyce, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing real good.
I'm sure you are. I'm really happy for you.
Got a nice March Madness win under our belt here. So I'm on cloud nine, man. Feeling good.
Are you really feeling good? Are you sure?
I'm feeling good.
Because I really enjoyed watching you hurt your ribs again as you celebrated your win. I would have to say that was the silver lining for me.
It was a momentary lapse in judgment, but we've come out on the other side. I'm feeling better now. Ready to talk some games.
Awesome. Well, we have a lot to talk about today, but one thing we want to mention momentarily. Frank, you got something?
I got an X.
Oh, you did? You got an Xbox One X?
I did.
Awesome. How you liking it?
Dude, I love it. I bought it for Monster Hunter because I'm that person.
Uh-huh.
No regrets.
No regrets? Is it a better experience on the X?
Much smoother. Much smoother. Looks, my God, it looks incredible. I was showing Jen, so like I flipped from the Pro because I had it running on there, had the same scene, like panned around. I was like, okay, now watch this. Switched over to the X, and it's like, it's a crisper image. Like the frame rate runs a little bit better in frame rate mode. It's much smoother. I love it. No regrets.
Was it a big step over the Xbox One version, the base model?
Oh my God, yeah.
Really?
It's a night and day difference, yeah. I think the base S version looked really bad. It's really blurry at times. Frame rate stuttered a lot. I know Bender says it's okay, but I know he's playing on the base PS4 too, so that's probably a similar experience. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But coming from the Pro to the S, I was like, oh God, yeah, I need to get an X.
Man.
So,
well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It is a lovely system.
That's great.
So we're going to try something different this week. We want to get your feedback as well, listeners. We need to hear from you. We're going to try to shorten the show a little bit. We know we've been running long often. Every episode runs 2.5 hours to 3 hours. We're going to try to shorten the show this week, focus on isolating on a smaller amount of stories, but talking about them a little bit more in depth with one another. But so the show is going to be a little bit shorter this week. We want to get your thoughts on it, so make sure you hit us up either in the comments of the video, on the website www.shortpause.com, or send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com. Want to get your thoughts on this format. This is just an experimental try here, but we need your feedback. We want your feedback. It's the only way we can make the show better is we need to hear from you. So just wanted to put that out there, let you know this is going to be a shorter show. We want to try something different. We want to get your thoughts on it. But, gentlemen, let's jump into what we've been playing. Frankie, let's start with you. What have you been playing this week, dude?
Obviously, Monster Hunter. You know, we're looking at trying to stream pretty much anytime we're playing that game, which is almost every day. And like Monday and Tuesday last week, Ben and I were both pretty busy with things, so we didn't really get a chance to fire it up at all. But yeah, so we hopped in there Wednesday. I think we hunted down Tostada. We're calling him. I think his name is Tiastra or something. But yeah, we got in there. I think we tried a basil goose run and just got annihilated. So you know, we decided, well, we got these. We're at the next set of Elder Dragons, so we'll try the first one. And we did him and actually beat him on our first try, which is really cool. It was pretty intense. He has some pretty cool looking attacks from afar. Probably not so much up close. But yes, that was really great. That's, you know, we were streaming on Twitch and YouTube. You know, Bender's usually streaming on YouTube. I fired up on Twitch, so you have two different perspectives. And yeah, so we fired that up on Thursday night as well, I think. So, you know, we did some more stuff on there, and then, you know, we played it on Friday with Crazy One from NLG. So that was fun. We got in there, and I felt like, you know, Bender and I, since we've played, you know, enough already, you know, we got up to the point where we're taking on the Anjanath again. So first try, we almost had him down. Like it was pretty great, you know, actually being able to get in there and come that close on your first try to killing this guy with, you know, all this low rank gear again. So that was a lot of fun. And then I fired up Bridge Constructor Portal and played through the first chapter, which is the first 10 levels. That game's really cool. You know, it's if you're not like into the whole, like, you know, building these bridges and watching, you know, so that, you know, a convoy can get across it, essentially, like, you're probably not going to find much enjoyment out of the game. But, you know, kind of getting in there, and I like the aspect of like seeing like, okay, well, you know, there's one level where there's like a gap and the portal where things have to drop down and shoot up another portal to get out of the level. So like looking at that, I'm like, okay, so I started trying to build a bridge kind of like behind the bottom portal, thinking I could do that and, you know, not crash into it, but that didn't work. So then I realized, oh, I got to build a ramp. So, you know, you're trying to like, you know, fine tune like how you're placing your bridge and like raising it and trying to like get the angle just right so that, you know, when they land, you know, they're not, you know, breaking your bridge because you built bad beam support and whatnot. So yeah, it's like I said, if you're not into that whole thing, like, it's probably a boring thing to watch and hear about, so I'm not going to talk about that, you know, in depth. But I think it's really cool. I like the aesthetics they took from Portal. You know, the storytelling with GLaDOS is pretty funny. You know, some of the little cutscenes they do in between are also just kind of funny. Like, I like the humor of the game, you know, the actual like small story cutscenes in it. So but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing much more of that, hopefully sometime soon. But that's pretty much it.
Cool. I'm going to go next just because you were talking about Bridge Constructor Portal. That's a puzzle game that you have to use to solve things. I actually fired up for the first of a doubleheader this week on the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight. I played Cube 2, and I love that game. I mean, it's a really, really good puzzle game. It's a first-person, physics-based puzzle game. You arrive on this planet. Your character can't remember why she's there. You enter this facility of some sorts, and all of a sudden you have to solve puzzles to get from one area to the next. And you know, I played Cube when that first came out a couple years back, and I've really enjoyed it. I've played Cube 2 so far. I've actually played a little bit more since that stream. I hit my first brain buster the other night. I mean, it's a very difficult puzzle. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm going to try to get back to it tomorrow night. But Cube 2 is an awesome game. It's $24.99. It's available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. If you're a fan of the Portal games, I highly recommend Cube 2. It's really, really good. Check out the video on our channel. You'll get an idea of what it's like. You know, you use these gloves that you have. You can change the different elements or the different colors. Each color square does something different. Blue is like a bounce pad. Orange extends a longer area for you to walk on, like a kind of a step, and then green is like a little box that you can maneuver around the arena using the bounce pad and other physics-based elements. So it's an excellent game. I've really, really enjoyed what I played so far. Check out the video to get your thoughts on that. And then the other game I played this week is Beast Quest, a game that I wasn't sure what to expect from it. I should have known better. I should have listened to Frankie. But you know, this game has some potential with all the components that came into play. It was an action RPG. That's what it was described as. It's based on a long line of books. So I mean, there's a lot of lore they could have pulled from there for the story to kind of create this immersive world. But this is clearly a game geared at children, and you know, in that regard, I guess it's understandable. You know, I wouldn't expect kids to be like, man, these graphics suck, or these movements are really kind of just janky, and the combat's kind of lame. I wouldn't expect a little kid to. I mean, they're like, hey, look, this is a character from these books that I love to read. You know, and so I can understand why they would be geared towards that, but it's just not a good game for anybody that's looking for like an action RPG. It's rough around all the edges, and the fact that it's a $40 title is very difficult to recommend that game to anybody. I'm going to continue to try to play through it and try to get to the end. I guess you can beat it in about 10 hours, but this very much is a mobile game that has made its way over to consoles, and $40 is a lot right now.
How much is the mobile version of the game?
Jeez, I think on Android it's free to play, and on iOS it's $1.99. So
how much is it on PS4 and Xbox One?
It is $40, dude. For visuals,
maximum games, right?
It's a maximum games joint, yes. So their list of misfires continues to grow. I'm hoping the game will get better with the further along you go, but early on it's just not an impressive game. And the fact that it's $40, it's nearly impossible to recommend at this point. So check out that video on the site. Now that was the first half of the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight. Mr. Boyce, you took the second half, and man. We had an interesting time with the game that you played, dude.
We played Spiral Splatter on the second half of the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight, and unbeknownst to us, this game had actually came out about 6 months ago on PS4 and Xbox One, but it was a new Switch title last week, so we said, oh, what the hell, let's fire this up, let's give this a whirl. If you're thinking about picking this up on the Switch, you have an idea of what you're looking for. But Spiral Splatter is a very simple puzzle game. You have a ball that you've got to guide to the goal as quickly as possible. It's as simple as that. Now, where the difficulty comes in is if you touch any of the walls in the course, then your object explodes or it splatters. That's where you get the splatter from. So then you've got to guide your spiral. You've got to keep going through these little intricate courses trying to get your ball to the goal as fast as possible. And when you do that, you get the 3 stars. And that's really what this game's all about: getting through the levels as fast as you can, getting those 3-star rankings, and it's one of those kind of games, one of those quick fire games where if you die, you're right back into the action. And it's for $5, I had a good time with it. In fact, I've almost got the platinum in it now.
Oh.
I'm a few 3-star levels away from getting the platinum, so working on that. Should have that soon. But yeah, it's a cool game for $5. I think it's cross-buy too, right? It's on the Vita and the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So $5 for both of them is not a bad deal. And it's pretty cool how they take this very simple concept of guiding this ball to the goal, and they build on it with each stage that you go into. So each stage each world has 10 different stages in it, and then there's always like a hook or something that they add into the gameplay as you get into each level. So one level might have cannons that shoot things at you as you try to get to the goal. One level might use portals that you have to figure out which one to go in to get to the goal, and unlock these gates that get you to the goal as quickly as possible. So there's these different hooks that they continue to introduce throughout all of the 11 stages in the game, and yeah, it's cool, man. It's tough. There's certain stages that get really, really hard. You've got to really be precise with your analog controls and moving that thing around. It's kind of like playing Operation, where you touch the walls and you get buzzed, but in this case you get splattered. So you've got to kind of really take your time as you maneuver through these levels. But I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, I'm still playing it. Almost got the platinum in it. Having a good time with it. Definitely recommend it for $5 if you're in the mood for kind of a. I don't want to call it a chill puzzle game because it does get frustrating as you're like dying in these levels over and over and over and over. But it's got this like sublime soundtrack, and it's something cool that you can fire up when you've got a couple minutes on your Vita or when you're at home and you just kind of want to get into something for a few minutes. It's a cool game for that. So for $5, definitely recommend people check out Spiral Splatter.
Yeah, head over to the YouTube channel right now. You can check out the Indie Spotlight, Spiral Splatter. Shout out to the developer for sending over a couple copies of the game. We actually gave one away during the stream, so we really, really appreciate that. Neon Chimp, I believe, was the developer. So
Neon Chimp, yep. Awesome developer name. I love that.
Yeah, Neon Chimp.
Yeah.
So thanks again to them for providing the code so we could stream that. And now, Mr. Holt, what have you been playing this week, dude? Have you had time to play anything other than Monster Hunter?
Not a whole lot. I've been mostly playing Monster Hunter with Frankie with our late night game sessions. Like he was saying, we have it on PS4 and Xbox One. We're playing it on both, now, and it's a lot of fun. I have been firing up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 again, trying to get back into that game. I do want to finish it. So it's been pretty good. I'm just still enjoying that game, but it's just one of those games that I fell off of. I'm just trying to get back and finish. I'll have to do the same thing with Shadow of the Colossus. Still need to go back and finish that. So backlog is real.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, other than that, just lots of Monster Hunter. Been having a great time with that game.
Make sure you follow us on YouTube and Twitch. Like you said, these guys have mentioned they'll be streaming Monster Hunter often, usually late at night. So if you're on the West Coast, you'll have something when you get home and chill. And for those of you on the East Coast, late night stream for all you night owls. So make sure you check that out. Short Pause Gaming on both YouTube and Twitch. All right. We have a lot of games coming out this week. You got some really big titles coming out this week. Frankie, what is coming out this week, dude?
All right, so try to get through this as quickly as possible. I know we got a lot to talk about, so let's get into the stuff that we missed last week. First up, Wolfenstein: The New Colossus got its final DLC chapter in the Deeds of Captain Wilkins. Haven't played 2 or 3 yet, so hoping these are better than the first one.
I heard that they're not.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Doesn't sound like they're faring too well.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. So, kind of bummed I bought the DLC for this now, but what can you do? Cluster Truck, which is basically like a Floor's Lava platformer that's published by Tiny Build. That's on the Switch now. So that came out alongside Last Day of June, which was one of my kind of honorary Game of the Year things I tied in with Edith Finch last year. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't played that on PS4, I highly recommend you check that game out. It's excellent. Very great story. Arcade Archives Neo Geo Aero Fighters 3 dropped on the Switch and Xbox One last week. Kona's that adventure game, kind of similar to Firewatch, but set during a blizzard where you're investigating some mysterious events and you've kind of been trapped on this mountain, so you're trying to survive the harsh winter elements. That's available on the Switch now as well. Possibly the coolest sounding release that we missed last week, Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse. This is a top-down twin-stick shooter on the Xbox One. This is something right up my alley. You're kind of fighting the Laminati, they're called. So looks ridiculous. A couple games got some updates last week, starting with Ghost Recon Wildlands. The new assignments is a free update that added 3 new classes to the Ghost War PvP mode, along with 2 new extraction maps. And so if you're playing Ghost Recon, hop in and check those out. Warhammer Vermintide, the first game, actually got a random DLC drop on Xbox One called Death on the Reich. So it's available now for $6.99, as well as like a new Ultimate Edition, which I assume is all the DLC for the game that's going to be released. So grab that now on Xbox One. And lastly, Redout got a space exploration expansion for $9.99. So that adds 2 new environments. Each of those contains 5 new tracks and a new boss track. So doing the math at home, that's 10 new tracks, 2 new boss events, along with 25 brand new career events and some new liveries and colors for your cars or racers, what have you. So that's out now on PS4 and Xbox One. All right, so let's get into the Spotlight games this week, guys. The first thing we have up, Sea of Thieves. That'll be available on Tuesday on Xbox One. It's a Play Anywhere title, so you play it on your Windows 10 PC as well. I know we've talked a lot about this game, what we've experienced in the beta. We've talked about, learning much more about what we'll be doing. So this game we've definitely talked ad nauseum about at this point. But Brent, I know you and I are the two who decided to take the plunge, supporting Rare directly. I know you're kind of still waiting on your code, but, in theory, you'll be hopping in on Monday night too. But, obviously, Game Pass was an option, but you and I opted to, kind of throw our support behind this one. I feel like this is something we might come back to a lot. So are you, is this a purchase you're feeling pretty good about?
Yeah, based on, what we played in the beta, I really enjoyed what we played in the beta. I mean, it was just a small portion of the game. But what really sold me out was just the potential of where this could go. And then, obviously Rare and Microsoft have been drip feeding kind of like information every single week, giving you an idea of more of the stuff that you can be able to do. And this is something I really want to invest some time in. I really want to check it out. Us four are going to pick it up, whether it's through buying the game or through Game Pass. We're all going to be playing it, and we're going to get a really good idea of what this game is about. These next 2 weeks. We'll jump in, stream some stuff around our regular streaming schedule, explore the world, get into trouble, find out what kind of the stuff that you can do. I want to really bump into the Kraken right away and just die a horrible death by that thing. I think that's just something I really want to experience. I want to be standing on my boat and watch this thing just come up and just destroy us. So No, the potential of this game is what I'm curious about. It's what's motivating me to play this game. I want to see exactly what everything we can do. Is there going to be a grind? Is there going to be awesome puzzles to solve, big elaborate puzzles? Is there going to be raids, anything like that? I just want to explore this world, and the fact that we're going to be able to all do it together, that's always the most appealing thing. I love co-op. I love co-op with you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I'm really excited for this game, dude.
Gotcha. So, obviously this is the first kind of big Xbox release hitting Game Pass day one. Ben, Bender, I know you guys are going to hop on the Game Pass train to check this game out. So where's your excitement at with this? I mean, you guys are hopping in at a lower price point. Is that kind of doing anything for your expectations of the game? Or, where are you guys at? Bender?
I'm looking forward to playing it. I mean, I'm going to do the Game Pass thing just because it seems like a cheaper, easier option for me right now. But I'm no less excited about trying out Sea of Thieves. I mean, I think it's going to be a good time to get in there with you guys and explore the high seas and find treasure and all that stuff. So I think it'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what all the game has to offer, because I know all the betas were very limited and didn't have all the features. So I'm looking forward to jumping in.
Yeah. Now, Ben, I know, you didn't have an Xbox at the time we got to try the beta out, so you're coming in, cold on this, haven't touched any Sea of Thieves at all. Where are you at with it?
Yeah, I'm excited to get in there with you guys. I was not very excited about this game as leading up to its release. Just I don't know, just the concept or whatever just didn't seem to speak to me, and its initial reveals, I wasn't too thrilled with the prospects of what the game could be. But as we've led up to the release here, though, we know more information about the game now. I've watched you guys stream the beta, and it looks like it could be fun. So if they can, do some of the things we talked about, like with like the more elaborate quests and raids, and if they can populate this world with things to do, this has the potential to be a good time. And this is a game, even with what's happened recently, that I would not have purchased without Game Pass. So even after watching the stream and watching what you guys have done and reading about the game and thinking that there is some cool stuff under the hood here and there is some potential in this concept, I still wasn't sold on it enough to buy the game outright. But I'm definitely willing to part with $10 for Game Pass to give this game a whirl and see what it's all about. And like Brent said, I like playing co-op stuff with you guys, so I'm looking forward to getting here and experiencing this. And hopefully, it's a good time. And if it's a really good game that I feel like I'm going to keep coming back to, maybe I go out and buy the full version of the game, or maybe I just stay subscribed to Game Pass for the long haul. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm curious about it and looking forward to playing it on Tuesday.
Awesome. Yeah. One thing to note, though, if you guys are going the Game Pass route, you're not going to be able to preload the game, which I'm sure you already know. Mike Ybarra has mentioned on Twitter that they're looking into options for that for the next set of games coming to Game Pass, like State of Decay, I imagine. So, but you will be able to download the game once it's available for everyone. So I assume that means midnight. You can hop on there, download it, and get in there not too long after midnight. So, still pretty cool to be able to play that night in theory, but yeah, so definitely look forward to seeing us streaming some of our shenanigans on the high seas this week. It's going to be fun. I'm actually really excited about it. Up next, another very interesting looking title. This one drops on Friday, and that's A Way Out from Joseph Fares and his team at Hazelight Studios. This is that really excellent looking co-op prison escape game from we saw from E3. Looks like it's going to have a very promising story to tell with some interesting gameplay mechanics. It has to be played in co-op. Somebody has to be controlling that other character and kind of navigating through the game's puzzles that way. Mm-hmm. We've seen Joseph's passion regarding the game, and I think that's probably turned some people off to the game. But one of the things I kind of wanted to note was that that someone had done an interview with him recently, and he had mentioned that EA is actually not going to see any profit from the game. So all earnings will go directly to Hazelight. I'm not sure if that's totally true. It doesn't seem like an EA move to do, but if that is true, that's pretty cool on EA to basically just help get this thing out there. But we've also learned a little bit about how the buying one game and somebody else being able to play for free works. So essentially, it sounds like you could download a trial of the game, and it looks like you need to be invited by a friend who actually owns the game, and you can sync up that way to hop in there and play the game online with somebody. There's no matchmaking or anything. So which that's smart. See why you
Right.
just have matchmaking so people could just download it and leech off of someone else. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what this game has to offer. Bender, I know this is one that we were talking about. This is something that grabs your interest. You picking this up on Friday as well?
Yeah, I think so. I've been looking forward to this one ever since it was first revealed. I think it's a really unique and interesting approach to co-op gameplay. I like that it's all split screen. You're doing different things at the same time, and it tells a story and all that stuff. Seems really, really cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Awesome. Yeah. I cannot wait to hop in there with you. Now, Ben, Brent, I assume you guys are picking this up on Friday. I assume we're going to get some kind of stream or something, some co-op footage, not having to use SharePlay for once. But where are you guys at? I mean, Brent, is this looks like something right up your alley, honestly. I mean, that's something you're excited to hop into on Friday?
Yeah, I love co-op. Obviously, I mean, that's just something I've always enjoyed about games is co-op, and this is going to be a much more ambitious attempt at co-op. This is your typical, Borderlands co-op where you're just running around together shooting stuff. This is going to be, I'm doing something completely different than Ben, and it's going to be real time, and it's going to be, I have to get this done right in order for Ben to execute this, or it's going to fail. I love that. It like takes co-op to a whole new level. It's really dependent on one another. Whereas in some of these other co-op games, it's if he fails, that's okay. I'll get us through. But if he fails this time around, it might screw up the whole plan. So I really enjoy that, the potential of that. So yeah, the whole thing about this is just the whole ambitious nature of this game speaks to me, and the fact that it's co-op. Yeah, we will definitely have a stream up Friday night. Ben and I will be going through the game on our YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer channels.
Ben, you signed up for this co-op outing, right?
I have. I'm extremely excited about A Way Out, and I hope that that Joseph's passion for the game hasn't turned anybody off of the game. It'd be a shame because obviously he cares about his game, and the only reason he does the things that he does is because he feels like he made a kick-ass game. So to me, that just gets me even more excited about the game that he's about to release. And this is a game that if it lives up to its potential of what I think this could be, or what Joseph is trying to make this game, like this could just be an incredibly unique, like knock it out of the park experience. So I'm really, really pumped to get in there and see what this game's all about. I don't know if it has like different endings or different paths you can take. I assume that it does in terms of the story. But yeah, I can't wait to get in there, do the co-op thing, and see how it all plays out with the story and different cutscenes and everything that's going on. Seriously pumped to play this game. I had forgot that it was releasing this week. Like in the midst of everything else that was going on, I didn't realize it was coming out this Friday. So yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I cannot wait to play this game. So look for that one on Friday on PS4 and Xbox One. Up next, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom hits PS4 on Friday as well. Friday is stacked this week, guys. But so this game looks absolutely gorgeous. So this one's not a direct sequel to Wrath of the Witch, but it's set in the same world, from what I understand of it. So kind of a sequel, not really a sequel. Yeah, it does. This looks like just one of those massive RPGs that's going to require dozens of hours. And Brett, I know you're big on games like this. Is this something that you're looking at picking up?
If there wasn't two massive co-op games coming out this week, I would probably be interested in this. I am interested in it. It's just not something I'm going to be able to pick up this week, but I am going to be watching it very, very closely. I'll keep an eye on it, but right now my plate is full with co-op.
Yeah, I hear you there. Bender, I know this is another that you and Ben actually, guys expressed interest in this before, but I don't know where you guys are at. I know you both were kind of looking at playing through the first one, just kind of get an understanding of that universe, gameplay, and whatnot. But is this something that you're kind of willing to jump into now and backtrack to, or where are you guys at with this, Bender? I
might want to just jump into it, especially knowing that it's not a direct sequel, and I don't necessarily have to have played the first one. Mm-hmm. I definitely do want to go back and play the first one at some point, but I've heard so many good things about about the first one, so it's seems like something that would be up my alley.
Yeah, definitely. Ben, I know this one is another one of those games that it sounds like the just core mechanics of the game from the first to the second are different. Mm-hmm. So, where are you at with this? I know you two haven't played the first one. Are you want to play the first one first and then kind of see how they improved or what they've done with Revenant Kingdom, or you want to start at 2 and maybe go back to 1 someday?
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, I would play through the first one and then get into this one at some point. But the chances of that happening probably slim to none.
No,
I have already purchased Nino Kuni too. I bought the collector's edition.
it's a
It
nice collector's edition.
yeah, so it should be making its way over here. I pre-ordered that thing as soon as it came out because I remember the first Nino Kuni had an extremely limited special edition of the game. I think it was
Yep.
the White Witch edition of the game
Yeah,
or something
it
like
was
that.
only available through was it Square or NIS? So it was only their website that had it. It was
Yeah.
only, like, very limited run game.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how you got it, but yeah, it's something I've always wanted to add to my collection. Is that game? I just can't bring myself to spring the $400 on eBay for getting one of those.
It's insane.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, for getting one of those collector's editions. So I hopped on this one literally the minute they became available. I hopped on to the Bandai Namco site and pre-ordered a copy of the collector's edition. So they've long since taken the money from my account, so it's all paid for. I'm just waiting for it to come at this point. Will I get to it this week? No. But just incredibly gorgeous game. It was incredibly beautiful on the PS3, and now with this generation and seeing it on the PS4 and having it at 60 frames with that art style on the PS4 or maybe that's only on the Pro, but just an incredibly striking looking title that I'm really can't wait to play. I understand that the kind of strategy kingdom building element of this game is really fun as well. So it sounds like they've gone ahead and knocked it out of the park with this one. I love that it's a real time action oriented battle system
Yeah.
this time around as well. So yeah, I really can't wait to play it. Just don't know when that's going to be, but yeah, this one will be in the collection on Friday.
Awesome. I'm kind of in that boat too. I really have an interest in playing this, but just I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to set down Monster Hunter. And honestly, if I do want to play A Way Out, so I'm going to probably hold off on picking this up. But looks awesome. Can't wait to see what people are saying about it. All right, so last thing I decided to stick on here. There's a lot of stuff to choose from this week, but I settled on Detective Pikachu for the 3DS. I couldn't help it, man. This one drops on Friday as well. But it just seems like a really interesting concept. A lot of the typical Pokemon games, are the massive RPG adventure games a lot of people know and, are fond of. This one, on the other hand, though, you have like a Pikachu that's fully voiced. He's this like hard-boiled detective, like self-proclaimed world's greatest detective Pikachu. And but he's basically investigating some strange occurrences throughout Rhyme City where this game is set, while your human companion's name is Tim. And he's just kind of looking for his missing father. I thought the description of this game is hilarious. Like, you have a hard-boiled Pikachu and Tim. So, but I mean, I won't lie. The voice acting, we saw in that Nintendo Direct trailer sounds laughably terrible. But I don't know. It's definitely an interesting take on the Pokemon formula. Ben and Brandon, I know where you guys stand on this game. So Bender, I know you're a fan of like Professor Layton. Does this look like something you might pick up?
Possibly at some point. I'm kind of intrigued by this game. I even if the voice acting isn't great, I felt like there seemed like there was some humor there. So it's something that might be amusing to play, and I do enjoy those like detective type games where you're looking for clues and presenting your case and all that stuff. So if it's anything like that, like Layton or Phoenix Wright or anything like that, it could be a pretty interesting game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in it too. I'm just kind of waiting to hear how it plays out, but it definitely looks like something interesting to pop in on the 3DS someday, maybe. But yeah, so all right, let's roll through the rest of these guys.
One last thing I wanted to mention to you: if you guys are worried about the voice acting in Detective Pikachu, just go back and watch the Beast Quest stream, and all of a sudden the voice acting in Detective Pikachu will probably seem a lot better. So
that's true. That's very true.
Pro tip.
Also, that's a very good point. Definitely. Please go watch the Beast Quest stream. It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
All right, guys, let's roll into Tuesday here. We'll start off with Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered for the PS4 and Xbox One. This one's very well received on the PS3 and 360, probably more so because it launched alongside Unity, and we all know how that was. But this is one I'm definitely looking forward to hopping into. It's more of like your typical Assassin's Creed with a lot of the ship combat from Assassin's Creed 4. So look for that one on Tuesday digitally. Attack on Titan 2 hits PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This one promises some improved combat mechanics over the first game, along with a new 4v4 online mode. Never played the first one, so not really too sure what to expect there, but I know that was really pretty big hit when it came out. So look for that one on Tuesday as well. Titan Quest is an action RPG from one of the co-creators of Age of Empires. This one supports up to 6 players for online co-op and looks pretty damn cool if you ask me. That'll be hitting Xbox One and PS4. RBI Baseball 18 will arrive on Tuesday, PS4 and Xbox One. Octahedron is a sweet-looking vertical action game about creating your own platforms. That'll be available on PS4 and Xbox One on Tuesday as well. Yeah, that game looks ridiculously cool. Assault Gunners HD Edition's like a Mech Warrior-esque action game that'll be hitting on PS4. Don't Bite Me Bro is a blocky style, Minecraft blocky style couch co-op zombie survival game. We'll be rescuing survivors who then join your group and kind of help you building up defenses and tackling waves of the undead. So you can look for that on PS4 as well. Mahjong Gold will be available on PS4 this week as well. It's, your typical Mahjong tile matching game. Minefield, it's like a modern Minesweeper knockoff that'll be hitting PS4 this week as well. Earthlock Festival of Magic re-releases on PS4 this week, as came out on Switch a couple weeks ago. But you guys know this game has been out for about a year now, and they kind of took a lot of the fan feedback, went back and addressed a lot of things. So it's basically getting re-released. I don't know if it's getting a new trophy set or not, but I know it's a new download. So if you own the game, it should be a free download. Obviously, it was games with gold, so check for that in your Xbox list this week too. I think I'm not totally sure if it's hitting Xbox this week or not, but it might be. If it does, it'll be free. Couple PSVR releases this Tuesday, starting with Audio Beats. This is that rhythm game that was supposed to come out a couple weeks ago. Guess it got pushed up to this week. And Floor Plan. This one's one of those kind of escape room games where the room begins to change while you're kind of looking for a way out. So look for that one on Tuesday as well for PSVR. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse finally comes to the Switch this week alongside Swim Out. So it's supposed to be like a relaxing air quotes turn-based puzzle game. So yeah, look for that on the Switch. Velocity 2X gets its Critical Mass Edition. It's a physical release for PS4 and Vita on Tuesday. And Nero Voider, which I guess got delayed from the Vita. That'll be available this week. So a couple things on the DLC front this week to look for. South Park: The Fractured Butthole finally gets its first story pack from Dusk Till Casa Bonita. So that'll be out on PS4 and Xbox One. And Noctis will be arriving in Tekken 7. It's the third DLC character for the game, so I think there's still one more to come after him. And lastly, Overwatch will be getting its 27th hero with Bridget on Tuesday. On to Wednesday, Bad Dudes hits the Switch. This is, from what I understand, it's kind of like a port of the old arcade game. I didn't even know this was a game. I know Ben mentioned it earlier that he had played it. So
yeah, I remember playing it on the NES back when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was telling Bender the other night when I saw the game pop up, I was like, dude, this reminds me of that Rick and Morty Universal TV episode where they had that trailer for that Two Brothers movie. Two bad dudes. So, yeah, look for that on the Switch on Wednesday. The Count Lucanor finally arrives on Xbox One this week. I think that's the last platform that game needs to be on, so that's out there now. Where Are My Friends? This is an interesting looking game. It's got 4 different game types across its 4 levels. So you'll play through, like a runner, a Metroidvania, a point-and-click adventure game, and a puzzle platformer. So that'll be hitting PS4 and Xbox One on Wednesday. Lunar Stone: Origin of Blood. This is a shooting gallery PSVR title. World of Warriors. This looks like a Castle Crashers type of 4-player brawler. You got these big knight guys that you're fighting and some kind of crazy looking bosses. So that'll be available on Wednesday as well on PS4. And Star Wars Battlefront 2 will be getting its progression update. So this will be dropping on Wednesday. This is the first update kind of addressing loot boxes in Battlefront 2, which will now only contain cosmetic items. So star cards and other ability boosting items now be earned through gameplay progression instead of through loot boxes. You'll also be gaining experience points now, which will, as you're earning those, you'll use those to unlock skill points to upgrade the star cards. And crates will now be rewarded as a daily login item and as rewards for completing milestones and time challenges, which they'll contain credits and cosmetic items only now. You'll also be able to buy those with real money when they, put the crystal system back live, but they're not looking at doing that for at least another month or so. So, this is kind of like that first step in fixing and righting the ship there, I guess. So, like I said,
and that's exactly what we talked about, Brent. I think you and I were on a show a few months back and talking about if they want to bring the loot boxes back and just do it for cosmetic items, like Star Wars is literally the perfect franchise or the perfect series to do just cosmetic items with, because people go gaga over Star Wars aesthetics. So if you just put that stuff, put a cool lightsaber, put a Jedi robe in a loot box, like people are okay like buying that kind of stuff, and it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. So you know, hopefully that EA gets a little bit of credit for doing this stuff. You know, there was an uproar about what they did with Battlefront 2, and sure, it probably should have never got to that point to begin with, but they listened to the feedback. They took all that stuff out. They completely removed microtransactions from their game, which is unheard of in a lot of games. Completely removed it, went back to the drawing board. They're coming back with an update that sounds like what we want out of the game now. And so hopefully people understand that. You know, they always get painted as the bad guy in all these situations, but they rarely get credit for when they fix stuff, or when they do stuff like this, or for when they help bring a game out like A Way Out or Unravel or something like that. So happy to see that. It sounds like, from everything that we hear about this progression update, like this is the way that they should be doing this stuff going forward.
Yeah, but this is the first of several updates that they're planning for the next month. So, you know, you set Battlefront 2 aside, or you haven't picked it up yet, consider it now. That game is seriously a lot of fun. So, cool to see they're finally fixing that stuff. On a Thursday, big thing coming Thursday. I know typically this is the big Switch day, but I wanted to start with the Monster Hunter World 2.0 update. So this is a free update coming to the game. The main things that it'll be adding on the 22nd will be the Devil Hyo. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name, but the World Eater. This is a massive monster. He's from one of the prior games. He can actually attack you while he's chowing down on another monster. So he looks pretty intense, but you know, using the parts you get from finally slaying him, you'll actually gain access to 2 new armor sets you can craft, as well as a new weapon across all 14 weapon types. So alongside the new monster and the new weapon types will come some you know, balancing of the weapons. Some of them are getting some pretty nice buffs. You can also make some changes to your hunter via a voucher that you can actually grab now for free on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. This will allow you to change your hunter's gender, physical appearance, and cosmetic appearance, which I think you can actually already edit. But you will not be able to change your name, your Palico's name, or your Palico's appearance using this voucher. So apparently this is from fan feedback. I know I would personally probably want to change my name because...
Especially if you were changing your gender.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah. So... lastly, the update will also be bringing a few quality of life improvements, like being able to change the size of the font and subtitles. So, Bender, you can actually read what they're saying now.
Good.
And hit detection on fellow hunters trying to carve their fallen prey will no longer be interrupted during the carving animation. Finally. They did announce a couple of other events with this update as well. So there's going to be a Spring Blossoms event starting in the beginning of April. I think April 6th is when it starts. During this event, like the Astera is going to get kind of like a little event redesign. Almost all of the event quests that have been up will be available to everyone as well. I assume by almost, I can't imagine we're going to see like the Ryu and the Horizon events active again yet. So, but everything else, like all the weekly rotations that they've done otherwise, should be live during that period of time. We got some information on the Mega Man Palico stuff that'll be coming mid-April as well. So you can look forward to earning some Mega Man skins for your Palico. I'm not sure if the music update is coming with that as well. They have Mega Man music for monster fights. That's pretty badass. And then they actually also announced that they're doing a crossover for Devil May Cry. So you can actually get a skin of Dante. Looks pretty badass. And I think you also they're doing a great sword for him as well. So
Nice.
not sure when that event is going live, but there's trailers out there for it. So if you want to see Dante in action in Monster Hunter, check it out. It's actually a pretty funny trailer. So so let's get on to the Switch stuff this week. Leading off the pack this week is the excellent horror movie themed puzzler Slayaway Camp Butcher's Cut. Dude, I love this game. Played this on PS4 last year. Fell in love with it. It's kind of spoofs on a lot of like the Friday the 13th movies. The episodes are kind of named based on those. But you have different skins that basically kind of mimic different horror icons from Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Billy from Saw. So really cool game. So I'll be hitting the Switch this week. So definitely give that one a look if you haven't yet. Manticore Galaxy on Fire. This is a really sweet looking like Pirates vs. Aliens spaceship shooter, kind of akin to like Everspace. Looks like it's going to be pretty fun, so that's something that's on my radar. Gekido Kintaro's Revenge is a 2D fighting game. Eat Beat Dead Spike San is a food gobbling rhythm game. Arcade Archives Neo Geo World Heroes 2 Jet is a classic SNK 2D fighting game. And Arcade Archives Moon Patrol is a side-scrolling shooter where you control a lunar rover on the moon. No Thing, this looks like a minimalist walking simulator, and it's like one of the features on the site list that it claims it's migraine inducing, so I'm not sure if this is something you want to pick up or not. Probably wouldn't. It looks like, I don't know if you guys remember, but like the old Windows that had like the puzzle, the maze,
Yeah.
like screensaver. This is what that game kind of looks like.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, I don't know. Tread with caution on that one. It's like $1.99. So, Soul Divide, Sword of Darkness is like an old arcade fantasy side scroller. Opus, Rocket of Whispers. This is an exploration RPG where you're looking for parts to construct a rocket. And Arc Park. This is the VR spin-off of Ark Survival Evolved that'll be coming to PSVR on Thursday. On a Friday, just a couple of releases, outside the ones we talked about before. There's Castle of Heart. This is like a side-scrolling fantasy action game that'll be coming to the Switch. Actually looks really cool. Might have some promise. And Western Press. This is like an 8-bit style minimalist dueling game coming to the Xbox One. So, Brent, that's going to do it for the new releases.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Ayler. Really appreciate that. All right, guys, let's get into the news. First, arguably the biggest news of the week. We now know the next Tomb Raider game will indeed be called Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It was officially announced that it will be released on September 14th of this year. We got kind of a small like teaser trailer, very, very short teaser trailer that was leaked like multiple times online and whatnot before the actual announcement. There was actually one video of some guy or girl sitting at a movie theater getting ready to watch Tomb Raider, and they actually aired the teaser in the theater. So they had it there, but we do know that we'll get a full review of this game on April 27th. As we mentioned, it'll be released on September 14th, PC, Xbox One, PS4, including Pro and Xbox One X versions. And the third, this is the third in the rebooted Tomb Raider series will, quote, deliver Lara Croft's defining moment, according to the press release. So, guys, most of us have played Rise of the Tomb Raider. I really enjoyed it, Frankie. I know you really enjoyed it. Tell me where you're at with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Obviously, we didn't get a whole lot from that teaser, but we know Lara is going to be back on September 14th.
Mm-hmm. I actually already ran out and pre-ordered this.
Wow.
It's one of the few times I've run out like the day after and pre-ordered a game. I was like, okay, September 14th, that's before Red Dead. I'm playing this. I'm going to play the other games. I'm telling myself this. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but I'm very excited. Rise of the Tomb Raider I thought was really great. Of course, I still haven't finished it because I wanted to do, I want to get a platinum trophy in it, so I just kind of stopped. But I have like 8 hours into that game. I loved it. I thought, the gameplay was a lot better than the first game. I really liked the story from what I played of it. So I'm super excited. I know it's not Crystal. I think Eidos Montreal is handling this one, if I'm not mistaken. But I assume Crystal probably contributed the story, to the story at least. So still very excited. I loved the reboot to Tomb Raider, so I'm looking forward to seeing the next chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I reviewed this for the site, and I absolutely love this game. I thought it was a fantastic game. There was the set pieces, the action set pieces were incredible. The combat felt really good. I loved using the bow and arrow. That was like an awesome weapon in that game. And I just love the way that they've handled Lara this time around. This rebooted series has been awesome. It's gotten better every single time. And, for them to say this will deliver Lara Croft's defining moment has me excited to see where they're going to take her next. Eidos Montreal is a very talented developer. I'm sure they'll do very well with the stuff that they've been given, handed over from Crystal Dynamics. I'm excited for this game, man. Boyce, where are you at with Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
I haven't played this series yet, unfortunately. So I haven't played the first one. I haven't played Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm definitely interested to play the franchise. I mean, definitely looks like something that I would get into and that I would enjoy. The teaser trailer is cool. It looks like we'll obviously those are probably snippets from the larger reveal trailer that we'll see sometime on April 27th. April 27th shaping up to be a pretty kick-ass day. But it looks like Aztec pyramid jungle type setting, so maybe some type of Aztec or like Mayan setting for the game. And then this release date sticks out to me as well. So September 14th is quite a bit earlier than the November release date that Rise of the Tomb Raider got when it was matched up against Fallout 4 and a bunch of other stuff that was coming out at that time in the fall rush. So now with the September 14th release date, this has the potential to be one of the first big like blockbusters of the fall. So this could be like the lead into a fall. I think it's going to get a much better showing out of that. Plus, obviously, it's no longer in a exclusive situation, so it's going to hit PC, PS4, and Xbox One all at once for the first time in a long time. So yeah, I think this has the potential to be a really, really big title if it lives up to the pedigree of the first two games. The only thing I can think of that it might be competing with at this point, at least for my love, is the next Destiny expansion, which I assume is going to be released around this time as well. But I do want to play this franchise at some point. I don't know that I'll be able to play it prior to Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming out. But yeah, there's no doubt this is an exciting announcement.
Now, better I know you like the Uncharted games. Where are you at with these new Tomb Raider games, dude?
I'm interested in them. I have played a little bit of Rise of the Tomb Raider on Xbox One. I actually still have it from GameFly. I just, I've had it for like a while now.
Yeah, you own it, is what it is.
No, I didn't get it like right when it came out. But anyway, I played it for a while, and I really liked what I played of it. I liked the crafting and upgrading of your gear, and stealth kills and all that stuff. It was really cool. So I definitely want to check this new one out, and hopefully I'll be able to go back to that one as well at some point too. But yeah, these games seem to be really cool.
Yeah, they're really pushing it in the movie scene. Obviously, we talked about how they showed this trailer before the new Tomb Raider movie this past weekend. The Tribeca Film Festival will have an exclusive Shadow of the Tomb Raider demo. The festival will also include an exclusive extended gameplay preview of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, followed by a discussion with the game's creative team and Camilla Luddington, who portrays Lara in the game. The event will be moderated by Jeff Keighley, producer of the Game Awards. So, man, this is going to be a big title this year, you guys. They're going to do, we'll see the full reveal on April 27th, and we'll also see some more at the Tribeca Film Festival. So, I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I'm hyped for this one. I'm really excited about it. We also found out that Tomb Raider 1 through 3 will be, the remasters will be coming to PC. This news was revealed by Realtek VR on Twitter. Realtek VR recently ported both Tomb Raider 1 and 2 to mobile platforms and will base the Steam remasters on those versions of the games. The updated remasters will be free for those who already own the original DOS games on Steam. Additionally, the game will feature a new 3D engine and support OpenVR. So, some love to the original Tomb Raider games.
Interesting. Brent, I have a question about this I want to ask you about. So we see this kind of interesting trend here. We saw this with the reveal of Black Ops 4 recently, where they gave us the game. They they officially confirmed the name of the game. They gave us a teaser trailer, and then they gave us the release date for the game. Then they told us the game will be fully revealed on this date sometime down the line. Now, we see the same thing here with Tomb Raider. They give us a teaser trailer. They tell us the name of the game officially. They give us a release date for the game, and then they tell us a future date when the game will officially be revealed. I'm just curious what you think about this. Is this what's your read on this trend? Is this something we're going to see continue? Is this something you like? Is this something they should do differently? I'm just curious your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it is interesting. This isn't something we normally see, but yeah, it's a trend. Obviously, it's something that these publishers feel that is a good way to kind of get the hype, the buzz going for their games. And obviously, it's kind of cool because you get this in March, and then in April and May you're going to get these full reveals, and that leaves a lot for E3, or doesn't leave a whole lot for E3, but it kind of just ties into that. You're going to have everything go right through E3 and then get into the fall. So I think they're just trying to generate the buzz early on, get the excitement going in April and May, and then whatever they do at E3, and then you're just kind of fired up for the rest of the year until the game launches.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. It's like, what's the impetus behind this? Like, why do this style? And the only thing I could think of with the Tomb Raider reveal is the Tomb Raider movie just came out, so maybe they were trying to like get on the coattails of that, or like build some hype around it with the new movie coming out. And with the Black Ops one, I guess they almost did this kind of viral marketing thing with the NBA. So I guess you could say that they were trying that. But yeah, I'm just curious what the reasoning is behind it, or why some publishers are deciding to go this route now.
I'm guessing they probably just got some information, or they do their study. You know, these publishers, man, they do studies on everything. You know, try to generate buzz, see how people react on social media. So I'm assuming this is just something they're trying now. We saw it with Black Ops 4, and now we see it with Tomb Raider, and who knows? We'll see it. Maybe we'll see it implemented by other publishers for other upcoming games. But yeah, it is interesting because this isn't something that we normally see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So speaking of Call of Duty, possibly a listing spotted for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. This was on Amazon. It appeared and it had a release date of April 30th. Now, obviously, this is probably a placeholder, but as with all listings of this kind, this may be a placeholder in case a game is announced. The listed release date would indicate an unusually small time between announcement and release. For comparison, the original Modern Warfare Remastered saw a 6-month gap after being officially revealed. If this listing proves to be true, it would seem to indicate that this will be a standalone release rather than a special edition bonus with the new Call of Duty installment, like kind of how they did with Infinite Warfare. They had the Modern Warfare Remastered came out with that. But boys, what's your thoughts? And it's also interesting to point out that in this listing, it's $19.99 for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. I want to get your thoughts on that, man. Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. You and I have talked about this in the past. The best part about Modern Warfare 2 was Special Ops. Is this going to be included? If this is in fact a thing, will that be included?
It's got to be, man. I mean, if they remaster Modern Warfare 2, it has to include Spec Ops, man. That was the best part about that game. So if they don't include that, we're gonna raise hell on this podcast here. We're gonna be beating down Activision's door, asking what's going on here. Yeah, no, I'd be very shocked if they remastered Modern Warfare 2 and didn't include that. Obviously, they'll include the campaign, the multiplayer probably, and hopefully the Spec Ops as well. But yeah, seeing this listing got me incredibly excited because we've been talking about this for months now. Either them bringing back Spec Ops or at some point remastering Modern Warfare 2 so we could play Spec Ops again, on the newer consoles. So yeah, I'd be juiced for this, man. Yeah, it's strange though to think that this could possibly be just a random release in the middle of the year,
right,
prior to another Call of Duty coming out. I'm not sure I buy that that's going to be the way they do this. I feel like if they do this, they're going to want to tie it in with one of their other games again, because once again, I'm not sure Black Ops is a game that needs this kind of a tie-in. Obviously, Black Ops has established itself as a huge Call of Duty sub-franchise that a lot of people are excited about. Infinite Warfare was a new franchise, so obviously having Modern Warfare attached to that really helped get that game out there and get it into more people's hands than may have initially got out to, especially with the whole space theme and people wanting that like boots on the ground approach to the franchise once again. So I'm not sure that Modern Warfare 2 is really gonna help Black Ops at all. I don't know that it needs any help. But still seems weird, that they would just release this kind of randomly in the middle of the year. So I don't know what the story is behind that. April 30th is a weird placeholder date, though, if it is a placeholder. So I'm not sure what to make of that.
Frankie, we talked about this on Twitter. I mean, I know you're not a real big fan of Call of Duty, but man, you really enjoyed Special Ops.
Yeah. Actually, Modern Warfare 2 was the last Call of Duty that I bought. Went to midnight release. Had a bunch of friends I was playing it with, so. I actually really loved Modern Warfare 2. That was I played through. I stayed up all night, played through the campaign, and then my brother and I started messing around with Spec Ops. I was like, I don't know what this is. So I thought it was a lot of fun. Like we were in there just messing around. And I remember doing like some kind of like you were on a helicopter. Like one of you was the gunner.
Yeah.
I don't remember I don't know if the other person was flying because I was on the guns, so I don't know.
No, one guy was in the chopper, and the other guy was on the ground. And the other guy had to make his way through the level at night. I believe it was at night, so you had night vision on the ground.
You had night vision on, yeah.
And the guy in the helicopter had that other night vision that was like black and white, and you could kind of see guys on the ground. It was a sweet mission. There were Special Ops was freaking awesome. I know we've talked about this 100 times. I don't want to go on about it, but Special Ops was probably the best co-op mode in any Call of Duty game. And I like the zombies, but Special Ops was the best co-op mode they ever made.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The later missions that were like full of juggernauts,
yes,
were a total pain in the ass. They were hard as hell. They were a lot of fun though.
So Burnout Paradise Remastered just recently came out, and I know you're talking about like announcement to release, like that's a short window, but we didn't actually even get like an official announcement for Burnout until like 3 or 4 weeks before the game came out. So if this is a real thing, I think that would be possible that it would be announced later this month and maybe show up on April 30th or whatever they're dating it for.
Mm-hmm. And boys, to come back to what you were saying, a strange time. I actually think this might be a good time for them to release it sometime in this spring. Because Modern Warfare 2 is arguably one of the most popular Call of Duty games ever. I mean, that thing sold incredibly well. People love Modern Warfare 2. And I think if they release it now, keeping it away from Black Ops 4, because Black Ops 4 is going to do well on its own. Black Ops is arguably the other really great series in the Call of Duty line of games. Having Modern Warfare 2 come out now would probably be better for Black Ops 4, so they're not out at the same time. Kind of give Modern Warfare 2 its time to shine. At $19.99, that thing will sell gangbusters. That thing will sell like crazy. So you get everyone to jump into Modern Warfare 2 now. They're playing it now. And then a couple months later, Black Ops 4 comes out, and then you make another bunch of sales. I think keeping it away from Black Ops 4, and especially the fall just in general, would be a really good move. I mean, obviously, I doubt that's the case, but it could be. If it was the case, I could totally understand why they would place it there.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely prefer that they release it like in the spring or in the summer, away from the other releases, and give people time to kind of get into this game. But it's still just kind of weird because it's also competing with World War II that's out right now, and it's kind of DLC plan because it's going to be coming out with new maps, and that they're still like in the middle of the cycle for that game. So it would seem a little strange for them to just release another game in the middle of that and just have take people away from that to play that game. Also, at that price, man, just thinking about it, at $19.99, I don't know if that's going to be the full game. What's going to be missing? Is it going to be special ops? Are they not going to have the multiplayer in there? Yeah, it's just it's got me thinking now that maybe that's not the full package.
The Dow Jones Newswire reports that following a meeting between Activision Blizzard and its investment firm Oppenheimer, Activision is reportedly keenly aware of how game publishers have recently benefited from releasing titles in the Battle Royale genre. This is a quote, management reminded investors that the company is a fast follower, Oppenheimer continued. While not an exact announcement, the implication here is that we may see some kind of Battle Royale mode make its way into an Activision franchise. Likely candidate would obviously include the company's upcoming 2018 title, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Boys, is it just a matter of time before Call of Duty or an Activision game has a Battle Royale mode?
Oh, yeah. We've talked about this a few times on the show before. Obviously, Call of Duty is a prime candidate to have a big time polished Battle Royale mode. I mean, that's how popular is that thing going to be when that eventually comes out?
Oh, man.
I mean, I'd maybe they are planning it for Black Ops 4. I don't know. We saw that video with the zombies, and like we mentioned, where it said, forget everything you knew before. Maybe we're forgetting right into a Battle Royale. I don't know. But at some point, if Black Ops 4 doesn't do it, maybe the next Call of Duty. But they're gonna get on the Battle Royale train eventually. It's a matter of when, not if.
Mm-hmm. Frankie, what do you think? Man, you think Black Ops 4 will be the first Activision Battle Royale game?
Possibly, although I'm not sure. I guess it kind of depends how Black Ops ends up playing out. If a Battle Royale mode makes sense for it, yeah, definitely. But if they're gonna go with a typical, or not typical, but an old school Vietnam or Cold War setting, I don't think they would want to implement it in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We got some music here from Ruel Ethan. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Thanks again to Ruel Ethan for producing the music for the podcast. He does the opening, the closing, the music you heard right there. Follow him on Twitter at Ruel Ethan. Check out his music on iTunes and SoundCloud. Up next, Geralt of Rivia joins the cast of Soul Calibur 6. Wielding his signature steel and silver swords, Geralt is prepared to take on any opponent, man or monster, who dare crosses his path. Both Witcher swords are made of the finest quality alloys and precisely crafted to suit the needs of their wielder. While we don't know why Geralt has entered another dimension, he was able to bring his weapon with him on the journey. The worlds he now finds himself in is filled with new foes and plenty of opportunities to fight. On top of his swords, Geralt enters the ring armed with powerful signs. From Ard to Igni, Geralt has the ability to unleash the devastating effects of signs during one-on-one combat. Each sign provides a different strategic opportunity to best your opponent or start powerful combos. Frankie, you are the resident Witcher 3 fan. What's your thoughts on Geralt making his way to Soul Calibur 6?
Honestly, like, I'm kind of torn on it. I'm really excited to see him in there. I think he's a good fit, like, for the sword aspect, especially, because he's, But at the same time, and I could be mistaken because it's been a really long time since I played Soul Calibur, but I don't know how many other enemies like have attacks like he's going to have. Igni's obviously like a little kind of like fire throwing thing. I know the one that kind of controls their mind to like stun them, that's in there too. But I don't, and Ben obviously correct me, but I don't think a lot of other characters have abilities like that. Like it's strictly, fighting. So I'm concerned like he's kind of going to become like one of those OP characters that everyone's going to be, kicking your ass with online and, kind of hard to combat otherwise. But like I said, I think it's really cool that they're putting him in there. I think in certain aspects he definitely fits in that universe. That reveal trailer was pretty badass. There's a point where he was kind of sitting and someone came and strike him from behind. He just pulled his sword partly out to block him. He didn't even, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was pretty badass. So it's really cool to see him in there, but I hope that he's balanced enough against the other characters.
Right. Yeah, that trailer was badass. Boys, any interest in this one, dude?
Yeah, definitely. I love the Soul Calibur franchise. Spent a lot of time, especially with the earlier entries in the franchise. Obviously Geralt looks like he's a perfect fit for Soul Calibur. He fits right in with the other cast of characters. I understand what Frankie's saying. This guy's he's gonna have abilities that the other characters don't have. But obviously, Bandai Namco, they have a lot of experience with fighting games, with Soul Calibur, with the Tekken games. Obviously, they have Akuma is in Tekken 7, and he kind of fits in there and people deal with him. So I think that they'll figure it out, and I think that they'll be able to keep it balanced enough. I have faith in them. They have, obviously, once again, just a ton of experience with this stuff. So I think he's going to be a sweet character and a really nice addition to this cast.
Bender, any experience with the Soul Calibur games?
I think only one I played was Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube because it had Link in it, and he was the best guest character. I think that was awesome. But yeah, it was an interesting game. As far as fighting games go, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
If by the best you mean the worst, then you are correct.
Oh no,
them's fighting words, man.
So do we have a date on this, Frankie? Is there any, or is it at the launch? I'm assuming when Soul Calibur 6 comes out.
He's in there like he's a permanent. I think he's actually on the cover art of the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he's like they do a guest character for each game. I think 5 had Ezio, so I know they've always tried to do a guest character. They're there on day one usually, and Soul Calibur 4 was the interesting one because that one, they did Darth Vader on PS4 and Yoda, or not PS4, yes. PS3, and Yoda on 360, and later on sold them as DLC. So. But yeah, he's there day one. They don't have a date for the game yet, though. It's still just 2018. So I assume fall-ish, if not summer.
Okay, cool. Moving along, we're going to talk a little bit about Blue Point. Their next game is another remake, and it's even bigger than the Shadow of the Colossus.
Whoa.
Interesting. Blue Point Games has confirmed that its next project in the wake of the stunning Shadow of the Colossus for PlayStation 4 is a new remake. And this is a quote from Blue Point's president and co-owner, Marco Thrush. Well, we could be doing another remake, This project served us as a great point of growing the art team to the point where we can take on a full AAA game, major scope of art content. So now our next step is let's improve the art pipeline. Let's improve the engine. Let's improve the workflow for the artists. Let's grow some more on the art side to handle our next project because it's a bit bigger. And our next focus is let's work on design and add new stuff to get the next remake, because now that can be our sole focus of making sure that's where we put the time and everybody else. They're already at a level where we can perform. With Shadow of the Colossus, the studio most definitely grew in both number of people and skill level, and so we continue to grow and expand and look at areas of weakness. One area that we've not explored very deeply is, what does our design prowess look like? What is our ability to build something original and to expand it rather than just upgrading something? And so we look at those things and we are constantly trying to enhance and strengthen the studio to get it to a point where, doing original development or whatever comes our way, we're fully capable of doing it. End quote. That's a long quote. Boys, any idea what you think Blue Point could be working on? It's bigger than Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, that's pretty wild because they basically rebuilt Shadow of the Colossus from the ground up. You know, they completely rebuilt the game. Obviously, they kept the spirit of the game. They kept the structure and the foundation of the game, but they completely rebuilt it, and obviously, it turned out wonderful. So my natural thought for their next game is Metal Gear Solid, and it's the first Metal Gear Solid. So it's one that's on PlayStation 1, one that's tough to play. Tough to find a good spot to play it. You know, you can I think you can play it on the Vita, but outside of that, you know, it's tough to fire that up on like a modern display. So if they're able to go in there and do with the first Metal Gear Solid what they did with Shadow of the Colossus, Metal Gear Solid, one of the best games ever created, one of my favorite games of all time. If they're able to go in there and tweak that up and turn it into, you know, something like what they did here with Colossus, man, I'll be doing backflips because this thing's gonna be awesome. I mean, seriously, just an absolutely awesome game. So my hope is that they do the first Metal Gear Solid. There's some other people out there thinking that maybe they go and they do Mass Effect. I think that's obviously a huge project with 3 of those games, so I think that might be a little bit of a stretch, but if I was a betting man right now, my money's on Metal Gear Solid.
Frankie, any thoughts on what it could be?
My initial thought was maybe like Demon Souls, because I know that's another one that From's talked about maybe wanting to go back to. I don't know if From would want to port it, or Blue Point just go and flat out remake it to make it a little more modern for the PS4. But I think Metal Gear would be really cool. I just wonder where Konami would be on doing that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first thing I jumped to was Demon Souls. That's another one that I've wanted to see come back. Also, if they do Metal Gear, I wouldn't mind seeing them tackle 4, just to bring that one over too. But hell, even the Metal Gear trilogy, like the HD collection, would be pretty dope. But yeah, if they're just going flat out remake, then I would lean Demon Souls or Metal Gear. It would be a possibility if Konami's going to fund it. But I don't know. That's the other thing too. Is like I know that's one that Kojima wants to see done.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the games that he wants to see, someone go back and remake. And I don't know how that relationship is. Like, is Konami so spiteful that that's not something they'll do, knowing that he wants that done? So it'd be interesting.
Very possible.
I think they're spiteful enough to where they'll be like, yeah, you can do it. You just have to remove every reference to Kojima from the game. No mention of Kojima at all.
Yeah.
Bender, any thoughts on what you think or what you would hope it would be?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, it really depends on what they mean by big. Like, it's going to be bigger than Shadow of the Colossus. Do they mean in scope or size of the game, or do they mean in the popularity of the franchise? Because I mean, if it's the latter, it very well could be Metal Gear Solid, like Ben said, or something like Mass Effect. I don't know what it could be if they mean like bigger in scope or size. So it's tough to say, but it'll be interesting to find out what it is that they are working on next.
Is there anything that you would want them to, like, if you were like, yes, I want a remake of this game, which one would you ask for?
I don't know, Portal. and Turtle 2. Both of them together.
Yeah, that'd be a nice one. I'd like to see them tackle the Resistance games. I think that'd be awesome. I really
That'd
like
be
the
cool.
Resistance games.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Bender, when they mentioned bigger, I took it to mean like workload for them. So like they put a lot of work into Shadow of the Colossus. Was a huge project for them. My first thought when they said that was that this was going to be an even bigger undertaking, which is why my mind went to Metal Gear, which was a PS1 game. So this is an even like bigger project to try and bring that up to date for modern consoles.
Could be.
That's my question is like, I know, Ben and I specifically, like we jumped to like a PlayStation title, but is there a chance that like this would be a third party thing like Mass Effect? Like, would this be like a multi-console release for them? Because I know they handled the Titanfall port for 360, I think. So I know have experience working elsewhere, but I don't know if like
they did the Metal Gear HD collection as well.
Oh, that's right, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, which it was on multiple platforms, so they do have a precedence for doing third party stuff in the past.
Yeah. So I mean, do you think it would be possible like this is maybe something third party that'll come out everywhere, or do you think this will just be like another PlayStation exclusive?
It's tough to say. I don't know. Obviously, in the past they've done a lot of PlayStation exclusive games. I think Demon Souls is definitely a contender here. Something a lot of people want to see. That one would make perfect sense to me. So I think that's a good call on that. But yeah, who knows, man?
Well, we'll have to find out. I'm sure that's probably what you think. This is probably like a 2019 title, like a ways off.
At least.
Let's
If
see
not
what it is.
more. I don't know how long it takes them to do something like Shadow of the Colossus. I think it was at least a couple years for that project. So
Right. Moving along, last week, boys, you and I talked about Ubisoft, and we talked about it was strange that they announced Division 2. What would they have for their big end of the show at their E3 show for them? And one of the things we were talking about, like, hey man, that'd be cool if it was like Splinter Cell would be one of those games. That'd be a game that would do very, very well at the end of a Ubisoft press conference. And lo and behold, this week, possibly a listing for Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 2018 popped up over on Amazon, the Amazon's Canadian website, although the product is listed as currently available and has no information on the release date or platforms. A Redditor spotted the product page, which has been taken down since then. There's no box art, and it's likely that the 2018 title is just a placeholder. The last Splinter Cell title release was 2013's Blacklist, which was awesome, by the way. During last year's E3, Ubisoft Montreal CEO Yannis Malat talked about revisiting some of their older franchises, saying the company is, quote, not forgetting Splinter Cell, but that Ubisoft has quite a lot on their plate at the moment. Back in 2016, NeoGAF user Crossing Eden claimed to have insider knowledge saying that Michael Ironside would be stepping back into the role of Sam Fisher once more for a new game. This is what Crossing Eden had to say, quote, regarding other games, I haven't been involved with Steep or Wildlands, but I was surprised Splinter Cell didn't appear at E3. I know Ironside is back. He was in the studio. I said hi to him and his daughter. He was shooting a movie with Amy Jo Johnson, and I know someone who worked on the set, and Ironside confirmed to him he was doing the new Splinter Cell. I know Toronto has the mocap studio for it. I'm hoping to hear or see something unofficial, if not official this year, but it's been hard to get anything beyond it's happening. So there's that talk about Ubisoft Toronto, boys, that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Dude, is this happening? This has to be happening, right?
This is another one of those things where I don't think it's a matter of if, but when. Like, clearly, Splinter Cell is a part of Ubisoft's DNA, and clearly this is a franchise they're going to revisit at some point. And, I'm a huge proponent of where there's smoke, there's fire, man. So we're starting to see, like, things pop up. And, we talked about last week the stuff with Ubisoft Toronto and them being a big part of the Splinter Cell franchise in the past. So with them putting the Division 2 out there and with a lot of their cards out on the table, I think it's highly possible that at E3 this year at the Ubisoft press conference, we see an official unveiling of the next Splinter Cell.
Frankie, what do you think, man? You think we'll see Splinter Cell this year?
There's a good possibility. We got Ghost Recon, we got Rainbow Six, so obviously they got the division announcement out of the way. Why not go back to Splinter Cell? It's been
God.
what? When was Blacklist? Is that 2013?
2013.
Oof.
5 years now.
It's time.
I think it's time to bring Sam Fisher back. I really do. Blacklist was so good.
Would you be down to have Ironside back?
Oh, yeah, I'd be down. As long as they don't mocap him. You know, if they want to do his voice work, that's awesome. But have somebody more athletic do the mocapping. I don't want to see old-ass Ironside running around in the game. It'd look a little strange. I don't think it would fit the gameplay. So, but we'll find out at E3. We're just a couple months away. Ubisoft's the end of the show surprise is wide open, and I would love to see Splinter Cell. So hopefully that is the case. Moving along, Microsoft has announced their E3 press conference date and venue. As detailed on a recent blog, the Xbox E3 2018 briefing will be held on June 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern in the Microsoft Theater, located across the street from the Los Angeles Convention Center. Along with the press conference, the Microsoft Theater will also host various Xbox FanFest activities, hands-on gameplay and demo for attendees, and more throughout E3. Microsoft promises this new venue will allow the company to include even more fans and partners in the Xbox E3 2018 briefing than ever before. Microsoft will also continue to have a presence at the Los Angeles Convention Center with a new booth dedicated to Mixer. Attendees will be able to play, interact with, and stream games. So, boys, they're kind of doing their own little Xbox FanFest, like how we see with the EA Play. They're going to have Xbox, an Xbox FanFest activities, all that kind of stuff, hands-on gameplay demos for attendees and their fans at E3 at the Microsoft Theater, man. What's your take on that?
It sounds like they're gonna, obviously have a huge presence at E3 this year. Not only are they going to, have the Microsoft Theater and have it all decked out as an Xbox venue in and of itself, but they're also gonna have a big presence on the show floor with what they've got going on with Mixer and their streams and all the game stuff that's going on at the convention center there. So, I know it's kind of a joke because Microsoft seemingly says this every year, but they're calling this like their biggest E3 showing ever. So if they're going all out to do this, they got to have something pretty special to show us, right? If they're gonna go through all these hoops and put together this big show. So it's, to me, this could be the spot where we see the unveiling of the next Halo. I think that makes sense for the show. It's about time that they start showing and talking about Halo 6. So I could very well see this being a big part of the show this year. But yeah, clearly they have some big plans for this year, and I think this is cool. When these things start to spring up around the conference center. So it's E3 is like kind of busting out of like the convention center itself. Now we have these other venues that are popping up, and I think that's cool. If you go to E3 and you basically you get this whole block of video game stuff going on that you can visit and see what's up. So yeah, I think it's cool.
Frankie, what do you think, man? They got some big plans this year.
They do, and I mean, I've enjoyed their past couple ones. I feel like they have been stepping their game up and putting like more of a spotlight on the gaming content coming to Xbox. Obviously phasing out like a lot of the TV stuff and just kind of like the Kinect stuff. I feel like they're kind of like trying to get back to like that hardcore gamer mindset. And yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what they got planned this year. Obviously, going that big, they have to have some stuff up their sleeve that we have nothing, know nothing about. So. I'm excited, definitely, to see what they have there.
Bender, do you think they're taking all these chances? They're setting up this huge venue at the Microsoft Theater. Do you think we have to see Halo 6 at this thing in some fashion, even if it's just like a little announcement?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty safe bet that we'll at least get like a teaser or something for Halo 6, and hopefully there'll be some other surprises too. I'd really like to see them announce some like exclusive games that we can get excited about, and stuff that we don't even know about yet. I think that'd be awesome. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they show us, and like I said, I think Halo 6 is a safe bet.
Yeah, I just feel like you mentioned, boys. They're just doing so much to make this such a huge thing. You can't come out and not have some. I mean, obviously they'll mention something with the Forza game or something along those lines, but you got to have one of your big 10 pull titles or possibly a huge third party exclusive, something along those lines. But yeah. For what they're doing, this isn't just set up for just the typical run-of-the-mill press conference. They're setting up for something big, and something big right now would be a Halo 6. Like I said, I don't expect them to say Halo 6 is coming out this year because, 343 has said multiple times, don't expect this, don't expect that. But I don't think that rules out like a little teaser at the end of the show saying Halo 6, it's coming, or something along the lines, or a little cutscene featuring Chief or something along those regards, or something along those lines. But I do think with the way they're setting this up, there has to be some mention of Halo, or possibly would they mention a Gears, or do you think this would be a Halo type of setting?
Yeah, I feel like Halo's a pretty safe bet. Gears might be a little bit too soon still, coming off the release of that one, so I don't know if they'll have anything ready to show with that yet. But I think we're getting closer and closer to the release of Halo. I could see that being a 2019 title. So, a teaser at the very least would definitely not be out of the question.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right, let's jump into Destiny 2, boys. We've got some updates coming. What can we look forward to in the world of Destiny?
We've got a couple of updates. Smaller updates this week in terms of what we've been. The last couple of weeks we've just been bombarded with like these big time blog posts and big sweeping updates. But we got an update to the Destiny 2 development roadmap. So this is via Christopher Barrett. In less than 2 weeks, update 1.1.4 will be available to install. This is the one we've been talking about with the sandbox and crucible changes. Bringing many quality of life changes to Destiny 2. Late in development, our team discovered a major issue impacting heroic strike modifiers. Changing the design to fix the issue meant pushing heroic modifiers out to 1.2.0, which is the May release. But we will be able to use the extra time to add more variety than was in the original plan. So that's really the only change in the roadmap from what we previously talked about. Heroic strike modifiers have moved from this late March update into the new season update in May, which we can assume is going to be early in May. I would imagine probably one of the first weeks in May is when we'll see the new DLC drop. So starting March 27th, this is the date of the next update, which is a week from Tuesday. The weekly Crucible playlist will become available to all. This playlist will contain Rumble, Mayhem, and 6v6 Iron Banner to start. So here's the calendar for when we can expect this, through the first week of May. So on March 27th, we'll get the weekly Crucible playlist. Will officially start with Rumble, and they've talked about in the past Rumble is going to be an 8-man event now. So there'll be 8 people in there, kind of duking it out. April 3rd, we'll see Mayhem. So of course that's the crazy mode where heavy and supers and everything are just flying around at all times. April 10th, we'll see the first 6v6 Iron Banner. So I'll look forward to that. Excited to see how that plays out. And then it kind of runs back through the cycle. So April 17th, Rumble. April 24th, Mayhem. And then May 1st, we'll see another Iron Banner. So which presumably will be the last Iron Banner of Season 2, if we had to guess. So there, Chris ends this by saying, we're excited to get your hands on these modes along with the upcoming sandbox tuning and crucible changes that they detailed last week. Stay tuned for more information about 1.2.0 in April, as we'll be giving more details on what to expect from Exotic Masterworks, seasonal crucible rankings, heroic strike modifiers, and more. Also in April, Brent, we can assume that we're going to finally see the DLC unveiled, what we can expect out of Gods of Mars, or whatever this thing's going to be called when all is said and done. So what's your thoughts on this, dude? You excited to get this weekly Crucible playlist going? Are you devastated that heroic strike modifiers have moved a month over to the next update?
It's always a bum when something gets pushed back, but we talked about this the other night when we were playing. I've spent more time in Crucible since Destiny 2 launched than I did the entire existence of Destiny 1. I just never really got into the Crucible. I got into it late in the cycle, but I have been deeply vested in the Crucible this time around. I've enjoyed it a lot, and the fact that we're going to be moving to 6v6 Iron Banner, that's going to be awesome. I am really, really excited for that. And then obviously when this week in 2 weeks we're going to get the update where it removes the tracker from competitive. So I'm really going to be getting in deep to Crucible. So I'm all right with the heroic modifiers getting pushed up. I'm still trying to get get good at the new Nightfalls.
Yeah.
But the Crucible, I am just way more into it this time around than ever before, and these changes coming our way are really exciting.
And when I saw Cosmo or one of those guys post the Nightfall scores from the previous week,
Yeah.
I'm just like, my gosh, we slid in with like 16,000, I think, or something around there. These guys put up 226,000,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, man, we got some work to do. We got some learning to do to figure out how to really tackle these new Nightfalls. Bender, you excited for the weekly Crucible playlist? Something you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Especially if they're bringing back 6v6 and all that stuff. I enjoy that. So yeah, it's something I might want to jump into with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Franklin, how you feeling about 6v6 Iron Banner making a comeback?
Pretty excited about it. I like I've said before, I was a huge fan of Iron Banner and Destiny 1. Even just like Destiny 1 Control, and I enjoyed the Crucible in general, honestly. Like that was I spent a lot of time in Destiny 1's, multiplayer, and I think it's really that's the thing I've enjoyed most about Destiny 2. Like the 4v4 stuff I thought was, much more intimate, but I didn't feel like I was running around the map as much looking for people. Which has been a lot better. But yeah, I'm excited to get back to like some of those old, especially Mayhem. Dude, I freaking love Mayhem.
I love Mayhem too. Mayhem's such a good time. I mean, you're just one of the coolest things about Destiny is your super moves and your abilities. So when those are just recharging ultra fast and you're just running around the map and you drop your Nova Bomb like 10 times in a match, like that's awesome. That's definitely something to be excited about.
Hunter's just disintegrate so much better.
I was going to say, when you throw these Nova Bombs, is it just exciting to throw it, or is it exciting when you actually make contact with another enemy with it?
Yeah, it's exciting when I just eviscerate hunters in their tracks. You just see them just disintegrate into nothing, and just a little ghost just sitting there. Like,
you guys need to grow up. You guys need to grow up.
Yeah. Anyways, enough of this stupid hunter talk. So, also in the Bungie weekly update, we found out about the next faction rally. So, coming up on Tuesday, the next faction rally will start. Of course, it runs a week, and this will actually be the last faction rally of season 2. So, they've shown us there'll be 2 sniper rifles from Future War Cult and Dead Orbit, and then a grenade launcher from the New Monarchy. So, while I'm not too excited about the grenade launcher, I do want to try and finish out the New Monarchy armor set with the ornaments, which I think are awesome. So I am going to pledge to New Monarchy again, see if I can wrap that up for Season 2. Because seriously, the ornaments on the New Monarchy armor are badass, man. I mean, you look like a Jedi, or no, not the Jedi, but like one of the Crimson Guards from like from the Emperor, or from Snoke in The Last Jedi. So I really wanna get that knocked out and get this stuff. But yeah, so the previous prize weapons will be in the pool this time around, so you'll be able to earn those through the engrams of the faction of your choice. And then we'll have to see. If I had to guess, I would guess that either the Dead Orbit or the Future War Cult gun will be better than the New Monarchy gun this week. So we'll see if maybe Future War Cult can finally get its first victory of the faction rally so far. But this is the most interesting part of this. So, as I mentioned, this will be your last chance at earning the ornaments for Season 2, so if you're missing anything, you'll want to make sure you grab it before Victory Week ends on April 3rd. If you are missing any emblems, you will need to pledge to the faction you are missing before March 27th. After that, faction rallies will be taking some time off while we work to make the event even better. We spoke with the Seasons team about their goals for the upcoming faction rallies improvements planned for Season 3. So this is the Seasons team now. We have been reviewing player feedback on faction rallies and are planning to make some fundamental changes to the event. Here are a few of the overall goals we are trying to achieve. 1. Pledging to a faction should be a meaningful choice. 2. Rewards should not be time-gated. 3. Faction rallies should provide a unique gameplay experience and not simply be a reward layer on top of the existing game. 4. The event should grant additional insight into faction lore and goals. And 5, it should build upon player interest in lost sectors and armor ornament objectives. I know you want the juicy details on how we are going to accomplish these goals. As we get further along in development, we will share more with you on how this event will evolve in the future. So, Brent, this is the last faction rally. Then they're going to go into hibernation until Season 3. Then they're going to come back with some changes and improvements based on player feedback. Do you like, from these 5 bullet points here, do you like the sound of the direction they're heading or what they're thinking about working on? Is this stuff you're in favor of?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it all sounds really interesting, and it just sounds like they want to make the faction rally more of a unique experience, to give it some more worth. You really want to entice people to engage in it, get involved in it, make it more rewarding when your team comes out on top. So I like that. They want to make the faction rally a more unique experience, a more engaging experience, and that's what they need to do, because it only comes around once in a while. You want to make it something where people want to get into it.
Yeah, that's the thing that stuck out for me too. Faction Rally should provide a unique gameplay experience and not simply be a reward layer on top of the existing game. So I'm very, very curious. This, the Faction Rally changes is planned for that May update. So when that update rolls around, we can expect to see these changes implemented and what they're going to work on. What do you think, Bender? What sticks out to you about what they're planning to do with Faction Rallies?
I agree with you guys. I think it's cool that they're going to try to make it a more unique gameplay experience and, have some better rewards and, more meaningful rewards, I guess. Let's see, building on interest in lost sectors and armor and ornament objectives. So, yeah, that's going to be cool. So, yeah, whatever they end up doing, it sounds like it's going to make the faction rallies more meaningful and more fun.
Yeah, you mentioned too with the rewards, they mentioned here that they're not going to be time gated. It's one of the things they did with Season 2 is they kind of did this slow trickle with the guns and the different items that were going to be available to you. So when we first started the faction rallies at the beginning of Season 2, there wasn't a whole lot there to earn. And they kind of progressively got more and more a part of the reward pool as we got on in the season here. And now there's quite a few things that you can earn as a part of the pool. So it's going to be good to see a nice reward pool right from the get-go, hopefully with Season 3. Frankie, have you participated in one of these yet?
Yeah, I participated in the very first one, and not really this past one. I did Pledge an Allegiance, but I forgot to. I haven't played Destiny since that night I hopped in with you guys, but
gotcha.
Yeah, but I've always thought the faction rally idea was really cool. But I do think it would be really cool to see them maybe explore some of the lore, like Dead Orbit has something on Nessus, and you're going there and kind of have a little mini mission or something for them that you do, and gain a little more insight as to just the background of the different factions. I think that'd be a cool way to kind of tie Lost Sectors into other parts of the game, because those maps are massive. There's so many nooks and crannies. So seeing them maybe explore, maybe one that we've didn't know was there, or kind of making something out of something that's already there would be cool. But I don't know how much they're wanting to go and do that just for an event, or how much extra work is going to want to go into doing all this. But I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, man. If they could do something like that, I also was thinking something along, even if they just put a unique boss in the Lost Sector for the faction rally week. They just change the boss or put a more beefier boss in there in the Lost Sector. Even something like that could potentially be cool. But I agree with you, man. I love the idea of the faction rally. I think it's a cool thing to do with the factions and to do something more exciting around that idea. They've got a good solid foundation there right now, and if they can build on it with some of the feedback and the things that they're talking about here, I think it could be an even better event moving forward.
Nope, we'll have to see what happens. I'm really excited for the faction rally. Like you said, I'm trying to finish up whatever I need to do with the Dead Orbit, get the remaining ornaments, get whatever weapons I missed along the way. But I've got the armor. I've got an ornaments for most of them, so I'm excited to, like you said, finish out that ornament set, get that done.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely be featuring that this week when we stream Destiny 2 on Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
All right, in the last section we're going to talk about, we got some Sega news. First up, the Sega Genesis Collection has been announced for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Sega announced that the collected editions of classics from Sega Genesis and Mega Drive era will be coming to PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on May 29th. The Sega Genesis Classics, or Sega Mega Drive Collection in the UK, was initially announced via Twitter before the tweet was deleted. A trailer has since been revealed thanks to the beautifully named Sonic the Hedgehog. Sega has since officially announced the collection, promising 50 games upgraded with modern features, including online multiplayer, achievements, mirror modes, rewind, and save states. When asked about a Nintendo Switch version whether or not a Nintendo Switch version was being considered, and why there are no and if not, why there are no plans, a Sega representative told IGN, quote, Sega is focused on the launch of Sega Genesis Classics on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and the update to the PC version, end quote. So at this time, no word of this making its way to Nintendo Switch. But boys, we got 50 games here, man. Any standout titles on this list?
I mean, there's a lot of great titles on here. You know, Sonic, Vector Man, I really like. Toe Jam and Earl's on here. Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Comic Zone. I used to love that game. Several Phantasy Star games on here. There's a few like glaring omissions though, specifically like Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Neither one of those is on here for some strange reason. I don't know how you put together a Sega Genesis collection and don't at least have Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which is, you know, regarded by many as like the best one in the series. So you know, it's a little bit strange that we're missing some of those, and we have like Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4, but we don't have the first Phantasy Star, which is also kind of weird. But yeah, there's some great games on here, and no doubt this is going to be a sweet collection for, you know, of 50 plus games for you know, a solid price. So I'm definitely going to be picking this up, but definitely would have liked to have seen like the whole kit and caboodle in here, you know.
Mm-hmm. Frankie, where are you at on this, dude?
Kind of excited about it. I think the price point's right, and I'm glad that, you know, there's so many games on there. But like Ben, I was kind of baffled by the lack of like Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. The Echo the Dolphin games aren't on this collection. Those have been on, I think, all the other ones, and I like those games. You know, like those are the couple of games I used to rent all the time. So, not, you know, seeing those missing sucks. And I also, and then it was a long shot in the first place, but I think Eternal Champions is only ever on the Genesis. I don't know if that was like a Sega thing. It might have been a claim, but like that's a game I've always wanted to see come back somewhere, because I think Eternal Champions was severely underrated. But outside of that, yeah, I'm pretty happy about this. The Streets of Rage games are great, and definitely excited to see Toe Jam and Earl hopping in here, at least the first game. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm with you too. I think Comic Zone is still one of my favorite games. I love that game. So hard.
You got a Gunstar Heroes on here too, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Glad that one made the cut.
Yeah.
Bender, any titles on that list that you're interested in?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm always down to play Sonic 2 again, and Sonic Spinball is another one that I really, really love. I remember I had that game, and there's a lot of these games that I've never played before. So, I mean, I would be willing to just get this collection just to play all these games I never tried before.
Sonic Spinball's on here? How did I miss that?
Yeah. Right column.
Yep.
There's a lot of games there. There's
Scrolled
a
right
lot.
past it.
It's a great
Yeah,
game, man.
I love Sonic
Spinball's
Spinball.
Awesome.
Sonic Spinball is awesome. Vector Man is really, really good too. If you guys have never played Vector Man 1 and 2, those are sweet, like action platformers.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a lot of the old cheat codes still worked on the last collection that they did. So they had trophies for getting to various points in different games, and like there was a way to like, because you had to get to like level 11, I think, in Vector Man 2. There was like some code you could do to kind of skip your way up there. So I ended up doing that. But I loved Vector Man. That game was a lot of fun.
Well, you guys will all be able to play all those games on May 29th on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Dude, May 29th is going to suck.
Uh-oh. What
There's
else is coming
seriously
out?
just a ton of games coming out like that last couple weeks of May.
Yeah, it just gets progressively worse every year, doesn't it? First, it's, you
Yeah.
know, for a couple years back, the fall, November, and October. And then all of a sudden you got September and August are getting big games. Now you're all the way back to May, where you just got a ton of games coming out. Every week is a fall week now, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
It's really brutal.
Yeah, this year the fall is already starting to fill out before we even get to E3, which is which doesn't it doesn't pose well for our prospects when fall rolls around.
Yeah, November is still pretty much wide open. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have any announcements, any like major announcements for November yet. So anything big coming out of E3 that's slated for this year, they got to decide: are we going to come out in 2 months in August, or are we going to come out in November? Because everything else in between is completely full.
Yeah.
Moving along, Sonic Mania Plus was announced. Sega announced the addition during the SXSW Sonic the Hedgehog panel and later posted to the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter feed. The new edition is coming summer 2018. The updated game will feature an all-new 4-player competition mode as well as an encore mode. No details about the new modes have been revealed, though. Players will also be able to play through Sonic Mania as 2 new characters, Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. Both characters hail from 1993's Sonic the Hedgehog. The physical release will also come with a 32-page art book and a reversible sleeve with design evocative of Sega Genesis box art. All of the features from the updated version of the game will also be coming to the digital version of Sonic Mania as an update. So a nice big update here, boys, for Sonic Mania coming out this summer.
Yeah, the physical release is cool. I love the Genesis box art. That's pretty sweet that they were able to do that. My question with this is this a free update for those that have Sonic Mania, or is this like a paid DLC?
Well, I mean, it says right there. It says this will be coming. This will be coming to the digital version of Sonic Mania as an update. I would assume as an update and not as an added bonus or a DLC. As an update would tell me that that's included.
That's awesome then. If it's a free update that's just part of the regular like update for the game, that's sweet. This seems like a pretty sizable update to just get as like a a 1.0 update or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, people love Sonic Mania, so more Sonic Mania can only be a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to save the best for last here, Frankie. The last bit of Sega news. We're going to talk about the new Sonic racing game that was teased this week.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. There was a new Sonic racing game teased, but Frankie, what we're really going to talk about is Yakuza Kiwami 2 is coming west this summer with a special steelbook. Yes, I'll pick it up. I haven't even played Kiwami 1, but if there's a steelbook, why the hell not? The steelbook is only available for pre-orders and the first run of games, and features art on the inside cover of Kairu. Is it Kairu? Kiryu and his fierce rival, the Dragon of Kansai, Ryuji Goda.
Sounds right.
Close enough. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is a remake of Yakuza 2 remastered in the Dragon engine used to create Yakuza 6. All the in-game and cutscene dialogue has been re-recorded with an emphasis on remaining as true to the original as possible. The localization has also been reworked, so it's the most faithful representation of the original Japanese, according to Sega. Frankie, how excited are you for Yakuza Kiwami 2 headed west, buddy?
I'm extremely excited. I have all of this will complete all of the Yakuza games for me that I'll actually own and be able to play. So, I still haven't finished the first Kiwami game because it came out, like a week or two before Destiny 2. So obviously, we know what happened there. But Yakuza 6 is out next month. Reviews for that glowing right now. Still understand why it was delayed. Obviously, the game's ready to go. Yeah, so I mean, I was going to kind of go back to Kiwami and start working my way thinking this would be like a next year thing if it was going to be announced, because I wasn't sure if it was going to come over here. So now I'm like, all right, well, it's coming out the end of August, so I know JD says Yakuza 1 probably took him about 20 hours, so theoretically I could probably bang through that in about a week. So I'm just kind of like slowly starting to try to plan this all out, because now I can play them in order. I don't have to play through, 1, 3 through 6 and go back to 2. I can just carry on with 1 through 6. So I'm excited. I obviously, you guys who read stuff on the site know I loved Yakuza 0. It's my number 2 game of the year last year. And the storytelling, I just feel like in those games is excellent. And I think, kind of getting in there and that was one of the things I noticed when I was reading the reviews is it sounds like 6 might be like the last game with Kiryu. So it's a much more impactful conclusion to his story arc if you've been there the whole time. Like it'll still hit you playing 0 and Kiwami and then going into 6, but like you'll feel more connected to like that storyline if you've played all the games. So I'm definitely excited that now, this year I can play through all the Yakuza games. So now maybe I'm not as mad about, playing so much Monster Hunter and pushing off my Yakuza plans for a couple months. But yeah, that's awesome, man. That's real awesome.
Ben, any interest in picking up Yakuza Kiwami 2 on August 20th to get that steelbook, dude?
Yeah, it's funny. I have all of the Yakuza games. This is the only one I don't have, so I will probably pick this up when it comes out to go along with my Yakuza 1 Steelbook case. I'll have the Yakuza 2 one, and then it'll sit over there with the rest of them until I get around to playing them.
Which is never. No, yeah, I'll be picking this up. I want that Steelbook. I'm like Ben, though. I haven't played any of the Yakuza games, much to Frankie's chagrin, but I'm just really excited that Frankie's going to get another Yakuza game to play through because I know how much you like that series. So, August 28th, Yakuza Kiwami 2 will be coming west, and it's going to be a wonderful experience from what it sounds like, all these changes that they've made to it. So,
Yeah.
obviously, a lot of love for that series, man. They take really good care of it. Lots of to re-record the cutscenes and all that dialogue. That's quite a. They're obviously very committed to it. So,
Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for this week's show, gentlemen. Where can we find you gaming and tweeting, Bender?
You can find me on Twitter at Bender_guitar. I'm on PlayStation Network and Nintendo Network at me_Bender. And I'm on Xbox Live at meBender82.
Franklin.
You can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Nintendo Switch at Viper Strike, VYPRSTRYKE, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Ben and I are going to be firing up Monster Hunter probably after midnight Eastern time most nights, so join us for some late night monster hunting. Probably won't be responding to comments. I'm pretty bad about that. My phone's usually dead by then, so and plus those you guys watching that the battles can get pretty intense, so I'm not really checking the comments too much, unfortunately. So if you just want some background noise, listen to a couple guys bantering while Jamie's dying while hunting monsters. Come hang out with us. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome, Mr. Boyce.
As always, Brent, I'll be not tweeting at Piccolo930. It's my PSN ID. It's where you can find me on the Switch and the Xbox One as well. We will fire up the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight, 10 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday on our YouTube channel. So make sure you come on over there, check that out. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, leave the comments, do all that fun stuff. I don't know what game we'll be firing up yet, but come on over at 10 p.m. on Tuesday and find out.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter at TheDude1979, Xbox Live, TheRealDude79, PlayStation Network and Nintendo Switch, TheDude79. Make sure you visit the website, www.shorepause.com. Depending on when this podcast comes out, you might still have enough time to enter to win a 3-month subscription to Xbox Game Pass. We'll be doing a drawing tonight, probably around 10 p.m., where we'll draw one winner, and we'll send you the code, and you can download Sea of Thieves at midnight on Tuesday. So make sure you visit the website, enter in, very quick, very simple, and we'll be drawing at 10 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. You can follow us on Twitter at The Short Pause. Make sure you visit our streaming services. We're on Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer, all of those, Short Pause Gaming. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Google Play, Stitcher, or you can watch it on YouTube, Twitch, and our Facebook page. All of those, again, Short Pause Gaming. If you like this podcast, if you really enjoy it, go over to the iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, write out a nice review why you like the show. If you're not ready to give us a 5-star rating, that's cool. We want to earn it. No fake ones. Send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com, with your criticisms, your feedback, your suggestions, anything. We need to hear from you. It's the only way this show will get better, is if we hear from you. Your feedback is invaluable. For Mr. Boyce, Mr. Ayler, and Mr. Holt, I'm Brent Felsing. Thank you again for watching and listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.